women that have come over and support this wonderful protest at Radfem Berlin once a month, right here. I am not from the UK, in fact. I am Spanish, but I have been living in the UK for 7-8 years. And I guess one of the things that I wanted to talk about that's particularly important for this law is its effect on young lesbians, like myself. Yes, being from Spain, I moved to the UK when I was 18, fresh out of school to go off to uni. And Spain is not a country that, where any of this ideology was big in any sort of way. It's experienced a sharp increase after developments in the Anglo world, frankly, in America. So here I come, 2015, and I am a lesbian and I want to run events for lesbians, and the first questions that first opposition that you get met with there is, well, lesbian isn't an inclusive enough word to run events there. So immediately I'm like, what? So the word lesbian is treated as a dirty word by students at the university. You can't even run events for people like you that suffer oppression based on your sex as women, and oppression based on liking the same sex, liking women. So that was a big, shock getting to university and seeing that all of these woke and progressive students were ultimately imposing gender identity and queer theory onto everyone who, dare say they were left-wing of any sort of way. So, of course, there was already some suspicions and some issues with this from my mind. And then, I started reading and I started getting informed. And when you see how queer theory comes from the academic world, a complete misunderstanding of what gender is. Gender is oppression. Gender is not performance. And it is not what, Judith Butler and Michel Foucault, who are ultimately, especially Foucault, very problematic people. This is not, for lesbians, I think nowadays, laws such as self-ID, have two main issues. So firstly, we are imposing, in law, a way for lesbians to have no way to say no to the advances of men. So lesbians like women. This is what we like. This is who we are. And what these laws are doing is giving more ammunition to men who say that they are women to have ways to get with women and not give women any sort of way to say no to the sexual advances, especially those men that are going after women. It's adding more pressure in most ways for lesbians to not be able to say no to male bodies, and this is a big problem that I have suffered, and many other young lesbians I know have suffered. And the other side of the threat, of course, which some of my sisters here have been talking about, is transing young lesbians. And there is this big, this big thing in the UK right now that says, oh, there's trans conversion therapy, right? Well, in fact, there are studies and there is research showing that young gender non-conforming youth, grows up to be happy and healthy gay and lesbian adults. And this, an ideology that is premiering this wrong body narrative and telling people that to not be happy in their own bodies and that they need to change in order to be who they are, has meant that, at least in the UK, I know in Spain, everywhere around the world really, the referrals of young women, especially minors, going to gender identity clinics and trying to, ultimately achieve, mutilation that will never, they'll never be able to recover their bodies, never be able to recover who they are. This is completely, there's been jokes in the Tavistock Centre in the UK that there'll be no more gay and lesbians anymore because this is what they're seeing and this is what's happening in the UK right now. And what I've found throughout my time is that this movement has the most regressive gender stereotyping and belief in gender that I have seen anywhere, really. If you present feminine, you're told you're a woman, and if you present masculine, you're told you're a man. So I cut my hair off recently, right? And immediately I was asked for my pronouns. And this doesn't happen to older women, this happens to young women, because this is the brainwashing that's happening within, this young generation that's being told that it's the left wing and nice thing to do. And unfortunately, I believe that women have been policed and tried, society has told us to be kind, to be polite, to obey. And, this is absolutely the way that women, especially, have been supporting this ideology, just being kind and being nice. But what we are seeing is that the oppression on our sex, on women, is everywhere, and we need to reinforce our ideas and the reality of sex-based oppression, which is based on how we are born as women. Finally, just in academia, I've been in academia for 7-8 years. I don't know how I'm still there, but there is this censorship, and there is this, you'd think that universities there is some sort of area for open debate and discussion of different beliefs. But what this ideology has done, and what laws such as the trans law are doing, is that women will not be able to even reassert that our oppression is sex-based. And this is something that we have to fight for with our Berlin sisters and around the world. So yeah, thank you very much, Radfem Berlin, for this opportunity. We're very happy to be here. Thank you.